you guys have a great story about the guy with one leg, and we'll
Oh,
end
okay.
this
That
on
was
this travel section. We'll end it on the guy with
that
one
was
leg, and that's all I'll say. You guys go.
that was
Nepal.
in Nepal. We were in Pokhara getting ready to go for like a 3 week trek through the Himalayas, and this kid, 16-year-old kid, about with one leg, uh, came up to us and asked if we could give him some money so he can get a artificial leg. And there's a lot of scams because it's a poor country, but
But the guy obviously was
obviously the
missing a
guy
leg.
he is missing a leg, and he probably couldn't use the money, and so we each gave him $50.
Yeah, I'll give him $100, and
We
that's a
gave him
lot. That's a lot of
$100,
money in Ukraine, in
and
Nepal.
yeah, and then he thanked us, and we went our way. We went for a 3 week trek to the Himalayas, came back to Pokhara, flew back to Kathmandu to get ready to go home.
So there's a completely different city, just to be sure.
Kathmandu is a huge.
Kathmandu is the capital. It's a big city.
And we were walking along a crowded street, and here comes this kid up to us. He comes walking up to us, he throws his arms around us, shows us the leg he got, and thanks us for it. And that was really
worth the whole trip.
rewarding. It was to know that we have helped this guy.
Even if I hated the rest of the trip, which I didn't, I loved it. That alone would have been worth the whole thing.
And what are the chances that you'd see him in a completely different city?
Yeah, and the crowded,
Well, another quick little story then about how Jim and I in 1974 went to Kashmir up in northwestern India and up in the Himalayas. And we spent a week or two on a houseboat, Mahmud Guna's houseboat. So flash ahead about another, 74 to 82. When I was going to turn 40, I went over there, a solo trip, to spend 40 days, 1 day for each year in India. And I was going to go back to Kashmir. And I was sitting on the south side of the Himalaya mountains at a bus station to catch a bus to go up over the Himalayas into Kashmir. And I didn't contact Mahmud or anything. That I was coming back. And this kid comes up to me and says, "Are you going to Srinagar?" And yeah. And he said, "You want a place to stay?" And I thought, I don't want to get, I want to find a place of my own. So I said, "I have a friend there. I'm going to be staying at his place." "Well, what's his name?" "Mahmud Guna." "Oh, that's my uncle. Here, I'll go get my dad, his brother." And his brother comes over and he gets me the front seat on the bus and everything. And they let Mahmud know I'm coming and he meets me there. And that's in India. And for something like that to happen is, like a comet hitting you on the head coming out of the sky,
Wow.
Million. Yeah, amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So someone's looking after us when we do our traveling, I think. I mean, I've never had a bad problem. Well, I won't say that. I had one bad problem on my first day in Ukraine as a guy at the train station. But
I remember well.
But then the only other time I ever had a problem was a little town in Peru, out of the way place where tourists don't go, and walking through the town on a little dirt road, and a dog didn't want me to pass through. I mean, that's the only time we really had a problem, except that one guy who wanted your watch, but that turned out okay.
Yeah.
Well, guys,
we almost had a problem back in 1977 in Morocco, in Marrakesh. But
well, I was wondering what's one of the stories you're going to tell?
He's like, Morocco, Marrakesh, got it. Which one of the 10 stories?
That was back in those days, almost 45 years ago.
45 years ago, yeah.
And we met this one guy who he had some business, but he warned us not to be too friendly with his kids that wanted to hang out with
teenagers
us.
That want to hang out with us.
And we didn't take the warning. The teenagers invited us one time out to a restaurant on the balcony.
No, on a balcony, on
a deck, kind of outside,
overlooking the main square of Marrakesh.
And you were up above, and they had an adult friend there with him, and one of the kids takes out some
Keith.
keef, which is kind of mild marijuana type thing, and fills a pipe, passes it around. We each took a hit, and after we went all the way around, the kid says, "Oh, our friend here is a policeman."
You start thinking about Midnight
And we
Express.
saw about Midnight Express, and the guy shows his badge. He says, "Where are you from?" Canada. Passport. It's back at the hotel, and then he fills the pipe up. He takes a hit and passes it on. He's staring at us. He gets to Tom. Tom passes it
I
to me.
pass it on. I don't take
He
another
doesn't do it. I guess I was being stupid. I took a hit, and then they all laughed. But during that time, we were wondering,
Okay, what
do
do
we run?
do?
Did we run through that door, or do we jump off down to the street below? But the guy was a cop, but the kids were just playing a joke on us.
And they
Trying to